So here's the inanity we're talking about today. The guys just got me a cheesesteak because I said I'd never had one in my life. Are you a cheesesteak, yay or nay?
I love cheesesteaks.
Yeah, Stephen A., let's go.
Yeah.
They got to be made by the right people.
So,
They got to be like I'm particular, Suzy. So what happens is, let's say for example, somebody gives me a cheesesteak, right? Okay, it's got to be on a hoagie, right? Which it usually is, but it's got to be toasted. If it's not toasted, I don't want it.
this was not
If it's
toasted.
but it doesn't have. Well, that's not good. If it's not toasted, right, and then it doesn't have any mayo, still doesn't taste right. I need it toasted. I need some mayo. And I need some onions in there as well. And even though I don't usually like a lot of ketchup, I got to have some ketchup sprinkled on it. Without the ketchup, and all right, I can't do that either. So it's a combination, toasted bun, scrape a little mayo, not a lot, just a little mayo on the bread, little ketchup with the, in the midst of it with some sauteed or fried onions. And it's got to be provolone cheese. I don't want American cheese in there. I'll tolerate Swiss, but I prefer provolone cheese for the cheesesteak. I don't prefer provolone with a burger or anything, but with my cheesesteak, I prefer provolone over all of it.
I appreciate you using the word tolerate. You will tolerate the cheese. Now, here's where they went wrong here. And I appreciate the producing here. They wanted to see if I would actually eat this on the air. And quite honestly, there was a 99% chance that I would not. That said, it was not a dynamic hoagie. It was not toasted. It was some kind of mystery meat, which is this the color of a normal cheesesteak? It's like a questionable brown.
Yes, Suze.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
The color looks accurate.
Okay.
The color looks accurate.
There's some gunky situation of cheese that was sticking to the paper, and I said, that's not usually how I like.
That's good stuff
milk
right
and
there.
cheese,
That's
but
how
they
you know
said
it's
it's
cheese.
good.
Like goodness. Cheesy.
Was there?
But with the cheesesteak, that's how it goes.
Okay. Was
With
the
the cheesesteak, that's how it
flaw?
goes.
Was the flaw that they introduced me to a cheesecake from a place in El Segundo? Was that the flaw to the plan here?
No, the real flaw was that they gave you a cheesesteak. So what they're really saying is that when you're not there, it's what they give your hubby.
They better not. They better not.
That's so now, not to dime them out because I would never do that. Never do that.
Yeah, you
but,
would. Yeah, you would. Because you just did.
Mr. Rich Eisen, it appears Mr. Rich Eisen has a fetish for some cheesesteaks.
I say we've never bought Rich
You don't
anything.
need to be too many of those.
Let me fill you in on something with my husband. Okay, let me tell you.
Okay.
My husband is a child when it comes to food. Okay, if it is in a
We all
package, no. This is like epic levels. Like if it's pre-packaged from somewhere from a questionable source and it comes in cellophane, he's gonna eat it. So like American cheese, individual wraps, that's his jam.
Can I come to his defense just for a second?
Yes.
Just a second.
Yes.
You're talking to a guy that has changed my life around and has really prioritized my health over the last couple of years. But in the last 2 days, I ate Skittles and I ate Nestle's Crunch and Bunch. I'm in no position to denigrate my man Rich Eisen to that point. Now I'm calling them out on the cheesesteaks because clearly he's been slipping a few of those behind your back.
Right?
That's clearly the case.
Right.
But having said that, I can't throw him under the bus like that and act like he's alone in being childish with his diet because as men, that's just what we do sometimes. We like the chocolate. We like the sweets. That's just how we are. It calms us down.
Well, maybe you can't throw him under the bus, but I can. And I will do it anytime I damn please. And it's about the jelly bean wrappers in the back of the car. Right?
We know that.
Right?
Know
I know where they're hidden in his office.
Don't know our history. They don't know our history. So, I know how much of a general you can be. That's how you roll. You understand what I'm saying? You ain't no damn lieutenant, so you're a general. You understand? You run the show.
Sure.
That was when I was working with you. So could you imagine what you are at the home running the house?
It's a nightmare.
Oh, we understand. We understand. We know that Rich Eisen's got rights about 5% of the time.
Right.
And other than that,
seems high.
He do what he is supposed to do if he wants a happy home, because you ain't somebody that somebody should want on their bad side. I can vouch for
And I
that.
love you for knowing that about me. I love you for knowing that about me.
Right.
Okay.
No, I do. I was telling you about that for years.
That's true. That's true. I get really happy when he's on the show with me. Let me ask you a couple questions. If you could be any basketball player that's playing right now in the conference finals on either side, who would you be?
For me, it would be Jalen Brunson because he's playing at Madison Square Garden. I mean, I grew up in New York City, diehard Knicks fan all my life. To be at the Mecca at Madison Square Garden as the star player, I mean, that would be it. But the reason it would be Jalen Brunson would be because it's New York, it's the Garden, that's his home. If I'm just looking at a skill set that I wish I could have as skilled as he is, I'm an Ant-Man dude all day, every day. Anthony Edwards, the brother spectacular. I think he's Jordan-esque. I think he has that kind of potential. And I think that if he ever gets to a point where he's winning championships, we will be talking about him being Jordan-esque even more. Not his mouth, because he will talk smack to you. He will get in your face. He will let you know, not to say that Jordan didn't do that, but he's clearly more conspicuous with his demonstrative tendencies than Jordan ever was. But the thing about Ant-Man, his athleticism, his fervor for the game, his willingness to defend, not just score, and that jump shot that has vastly improved over the last couple of years to complement his athleticism, his ball handling skills, his ability to get in the lane, etc. Ant-Man is spectacular, and he is a showstopper. And I think that if he wins the championship, he will officially be the face of the NBA. And that means even in the stratosphere of a LeBron James and a Steph Curry.
Wow, that's a big statement.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. But he will, because his personality demands it. See, Jason Tatum's a champion, but Jason Tatum didn't have that personality. Ant-Man has that kind of personality. And so if he were to win a championship, it's not just about him winning the championship, Suzy. Last year, he sent home Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal in the first round. He sent up Jokic and Jamal Murray and Aaron Gordon in the second round. He lost in the conference finals to Luka and Kyrie, then came back this year and sent Luka and LeBron home together. And then obviously Jimmy Butler. I'm not going to say Steph Curry, because Steph Curry, when he was on the court, they won game one, and he had 13 points in the first 13 minutes of game two before he strained his hamstring. So I'm not going to say Steph Curry, but he did send home Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green. And if he wins this series, he would be sending home Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who I believe to be the imminent league MVP. So if he did that, and then, Lord help us, he played the New York Knicks in the finals, and he beat New York to win a championship, I think it will warrant that kind of discussion.
Now, if you are a coach / GM and you're building a team right now based off of one of these four teams, do you start with him, or who do you start with?
I start with Ant-Man. I mean, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is an upgraded modern-day version of George the Iceman George Gervin, who I love. Jalen Brunson is a superstar in this game, clutch player of the year. He's a closer. Tyrese Halliburton and the Indiana Pacers, led by a Hall of Fame coach in Rick Carlisle, they are to be highly respected. But Ant-Man is a different breed. I mean, when you think about, the personalities might be different, but when you think about a Bird, when you think about a Magic Johnson, when you think about a Michael Jordan, he wouldn't be a Vince Carter if he won the championship, because Vince Carter never won a championship. You'd have to think about Kobe. When you think about his willingness to play on both sides of the ball, I'm talking about Ant-Man here, because Kobe was willing to do the same thing for many years. Kobe was an elite defender. And so I look at those kind of things, the elements, the increments, the ingredients that come with being a face of the league and somebody you want to build around. I can't see how it can't be Ant-Man. On the court, he can give you 25 to 27 a night. He's willing to defend. he's a highlight reel waiting to happen every single play, and his personality is tops, is one of the top personalities, one of the top elite personalities in the game, which makes him incredibly, incredibly marketable. I don't see how you dismiss all of those things and say, I would take somebody else to be the face of my franchise. Not if he wins this championship. Oh, no. No. It would be him.
You think the immaturity will be something that he puts aside? Kobe, as you and I both know, wanted to be the face of the league. He wanted that to be him. You and I saw firsthand, like when he and Shaq would bristle at each other because they both wanted to be the face of the franchise. So I guess that's my only pushback with Anthony Edwards. I want to see him mature and grow into the role because I want him to be a role model. I want him to be the face. And I want him to want it.
Well, we have to be careful. You and I have had many, many discussions off there because we've known each other for so many years. Love you dearly, girl. And we've had so many conversations. And a lot of times I've told you, sometimes it's reflecting on your past transgressions that make you highly hesitant to step out front. So we don't know what he believes he has done or how he has behaved off the court in the past and what level of influence that may have on his future desires to be a face of the league. Because with being the face comes that scrutiny. And when that scrutiny comes your way, none of us want it. It's just that some of us run from it and some of us don't. But none of us want it. None of us. You don't want that heightened level of scrutiny because it's subject to interpretation. You might have done something negative, but in other people's eyes it's heinous. And as a result, it also gives people a license to get in your business, which a lot of folks don't want happening. And so when somebody says to you, the face of the league, the face of the league, the face of the league, you're saying no, because you don't want to invite the attention, because you don't want the responsibility. That's entirely different than feeling as to whether or not you deserve it based on your exploits, your and how performative you are, and what level of results you register compared to others who might be deemed the face of the league. I believe he believes he's on that level. He just doesn't want to invite the scrutiny on a personal level that may come with it for whatever reason. And that's his right. But fans also have the right to say, we don't give a damn. We watching you play, and nobody deserves it more than you. And that's where I'm at with it. I'm looking at him strictly as a basketball player. I think he's a good dude. I'm quite sure he's not flawless because none of us are. But I think he's a very good dude. But as a basketball player, he is a showstopper. And I believe he is the face of the league, and he should be.
Just a few more minutes with Stephen A. Smith, Suzy Shuster in for Rich Eisen. Is he going to hold the trophy? Who's going to put it up?
I hope not. I hope my Knicks beat them. But I will confess to you, I'm really clamoring for Minnesota versus New York. Now, in the interest of full disclosure,
so is Rich.
You know, my travel arrangements are important to me. I mean, ain't no direct flights in Oklahoma City.
I hear you.
All right, and that's not right. It's not winter anymore, so I'm not going to summarily dismiss Minnesota. Indiana's a great basketball town and stuff like that. But there's only so many times you can go to a Ruth Chris, or Morgan Steakhouse or something like that. Look, man,
it's about the food. I get it.
New York than Indiana.
I get it.
I'd rather be in Minnesota. Well, I ain't even talking about the food. I'm talking about the cities. I'd rather be in New York than Indiana. I'd rather be in Minnesota than New York. But also, if we're being honest, most basketball people would clamor for that confrontation. New York versus Minnesota. Ant-Man at the Garden, Julius Randle and Karl-Anthony Towns going up against one another. Now that one was traded for the other last summer. All of these things come into play for an epic NBA Finals, and I think that's what a lot of us would like to see. But Indiana and OKC, you can bet the house they're going to have something to say about them because both of them are good enough to take out New York and Minnesota.
We have a minute and a half left with you. And I'm sitting here, do I ask you about Caitlyn Clark and do I ask you about Angel Reese or do I ask you to do the win-loss for the Dallas Cowboys? Because Michael Irvin did the win-loss. He predicted the Cowboys are going to go 12-5. Want to play the win-loss? It's fun.
Cowboys will go 9-8.
Oh, that was fast.
Ooh.
Right.
Playmaker don't know what he's talking about. He has no objectivity. Don't listen to him. There's no objectivity whatsoever.
I mean,
All he's going to do is start sweating and throwing up his hands and trying to be demonstrative and bully folks into believing the Cowboys are going to win 12 games. And, oh, by the way, it doesn't amount to anything because they're going to lose in the playoffs anyway. So don't even waste your time with that subject. What's the other question?
Caitlyn Clark and Angel Reese. Kind of sounds a little bit like the conversation you just had about wanting the spotlight. This is what I said about it, and I love it. I want to see them going at it. I want to see them playing physical. I want to keep this racist crap off the court where it belongs. If some jamoke wants to talk like that, then go home. I don't want to hear it. I love this rivalry. I am here for every single second of it. Your thoughts?
Well, first of all, it's not a rivalry. Not when you losing by 35 points on opening.
That's true.
It's not rivalry. Indiana Fever's on a different level than the Chicago Sky. Let's get that out the way. Secondly, as much as we love Angel Reese because she is special, she's not Caitlyn Clark as a player. Caitlyn Clark is on a different level. We just have to own that. Angel Reese can rebound the basketball. She's a damn good player. She's got a bright future in the WNBA, but Caitlyn Clark is next level. That's number 2. Number 3, Caitlyn Clark's or Angel Reese's popularity in large part is attributed to her behavior towards Caitlyn Clark, because when Caitlyn Clark was busy taunting opponents a couple of years back before LSU smacked Iowa around in the national championship game or so, it was Angel Reese that was clapping back at Caitlyn Clark once it was Caitlyn Clark's turn to have her come uppance. And that's what made Angel Reese famous. Now, Angel Reese experienced vitriol thereafter. It was tough for her to deal with, as she articulated, and that's unfortunate because we got some no-good-ass people in this world. And their definition of happiness is bringing you down to the level of misery they experience every day. And so that's unfortunate. But in the end, the WNBA is moving upwards. Both of those young ladies are going to be incredible contributors to the product and the brand. The fan base should continue to love the WNBA and support the WNBA, as we all do. And racial animus exists in this world. And to a lot of white people out there, I've said this on many, many occasions. If you're not one of them no-good bastards that would do something like that, feel something like that, say something like that, nobody's talking about you. Don't personalize it and embrace it as if black folks and other folks are lumping you with them. No, we know how to isolate. We know how to look at the Suzy Shuster and say she's a wonderful woman. She's straight up. She don't play. She don't tolerate no nonsense, but she's a damn good woman. She's been my friend for decades. I love her. I know her. Compared to some white woman that might be a racist, okay? Or some white man that might be a racist compared to your husband, my buddy, Rich Eisen. It's ridiculous. We know how to decipher and distinguish the difference between no good people and people who are really, really good and loving people. And as long as we continue to be that way, those folks will be on the outside looking in, wishing they were us.
That's right.
We'll continue to march forward doing what we do.
Stephen, I love you.
Love you too.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.